Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I got tagged by Holly to do the cake book tag, and it's so cute. I love cake, I love baking cake, and I thought these prompts were just precious. So most of these books, I think y'all, I don't have on me, but I'll put a picture of them up here. So it's a cake book tag, and there are 9 prompts, and I'll get into it. So the first one is chocolate cake, a dark book you loved. If you know me, I don't read dark books. I really don't even know what I've read that would be considered a dark book. I did end up putting The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. I read that back in school, and the reason why I say maybe it's dark is, it's about the Holocaust, it's about the conditions in her life and the abuse and just the horrific things that happened. I did really like it. I don't rate that kind of a book. I did find it very interesting, but it is very sad, and of course, in my opinion, it is dark. It's a very dark time in history, so I did enjoy learning about her life and her journey, but yeah, so I hope that gives you an idea. And then I guess maybe like the last couple Harry Potter books, I guess they have dark elements, so there's that. I don't know, guys. I don't read dark books. The second one is Vanilla Cake, and that's a light read that you loved. And so I just read this one recently, and it's The Love Audit by Anna Conwell. It was light. There wasn't, super heavy topics in it. It was light. It was so cute. I laughed. I swooned at the romance. It's a clean romantic rom-com, and it did have some Christian, faith aspects in it. Wow, it was just so cute. It was light, and I loved it. And then another one that is just a light read, and it is short. It's a novella. It's Take a Chance on Me by Becky Wade. It's the prequel to her Misty River series, and it's not really a prequel. It's just the book before you really get into a series, and like I said, it's a novella, and it's about Eli, and I don't remember the girl's name. It was so cute, and it kind of does it take place, I don't think it takes place in the winter, but I think there's like a memory or flashback that's in the winter time, but let's say it could be a cozy read now. I loved it. It was very cute, and it was a light, so there's that. The next one is number 3, Red Velvet. Book that gave me mixed emotions. This might be controversial. I almost didn't put it in here because I know a lot of people do love this book. But the book is The Masterpiece by Francine Rivers. This was the second book I ever read by Francine. First one was Redeeming Love, and I liked it. I think I gave it a 3 or 4 star. The faith is great. Francine writes faith like nobody else. But I just felt like the book dragged some. And I also really got so ticked with Roman, the guy character. He was just so rude, like to the point where it wasn't even like, I don't even know. It wasn't, I don't know. It was just downright rude to me, like his personality. Well, it did give me mixed emotions because I loved the faith. I loved the main girl character. I loved the story, but the book itself at times did drag for me. And there were just times where I really disliked Roman. Yeah. So, yeah, I still have mixed emotions about it. So, I liked it, but there was some things I also really didn't like. So there's that. I hope y'all don't think differently of me. The next one is number 4, Cheesecake. Book that I would recommend to anyone. If y'all know me, you probably know what I'm gonna say. Any guesses? Redeeming Love. Best book of my life. Anybody can read this book and get the amazing message of God's love and care for his children. You're never, ever too far gone. Favorite book of all time. Okay, number 5 is, I have Redeeming Love back here. Anyways, number 5 is Coffee Cake, a book I never finished. And this is a nonfiction for me, and it's Forgiving What You Can't Forget by Lisa TerKeurst. And I never finished this book because I tried reading it when it first came out a couple years ago, and I just really struggled to get through it. I really love Lisa. I love her messages. I love the studies that she comes out with. But there are times where her books can honestly be a little hard for me to understand. She's very raw, very honest. I love that. But it's just like her actual writing at times can be very wordy for me. And there's times where I can get really lost in the wordiness. And it's really hard for me to comprehend. And that's how Forgiving What You Can't Forget was for me. I didn't finish it. If you finished it, I hope you loved it. I have some family members that did finish it, but sometimes Lisa can just be a little too wordy. I think God really has given her the gift of writing. That's the only reason. It's not because it was a bad book. It's just, it was hard for me to understand. Number 6 is Carrot Cake, and that is a book with great writing. And I'm trying to give y'all some variety with my answers. So, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. It's a young adult mystery murder novel. I read it either the beginning of this year or very end of 2021. Loved it. Like I said, I really had to be in the mood for mystery, and it was great. I read it in just like 2 days. The mystery aspect was awesome. It really was great writing. It gripped me. It sucked me into the story, and I loved it. I really do want to read the second and third ones, so maybe I'll get to those soon. I don't know, but highly recommend if you've not read it. And it's not like spooky, guys. I don't read anything spooky. I don't read anything that is going to give me the heebie-jeebies. Because let me tell you, I watched Criminal Minds at a young age, and I was actually scarred from it. Because Criminal Minds was intense at times, the TV show. And I watched it when I was young. I'm a big scaredy cat. I can't read anything spooky. So, it's really good. The writing's great. And the next one is number 7, Tiramisu. And that's a book leaving you wanting more. And I loved this book. It's The Art of Losing Yourself by Katie Ganshert. But it left me wanting more, like I wanted more. It ended honestly in like a kind of an abrupt way. And I was like, what? Like, I wanted more like information and honestly closure. So it left me wanting more in a good way. Like, I wanted more of the story. So it was in a positive way. Again, I wouldn't be mad if Katie Ganshert wrote a second book to this. I doubt she will. I don't know. I don't think she writes Christian fiction anymore. I think she writes like young adult fantasy now. But yes, I remember reading that and I was like, this is not the end. And I was like, is my book missing pages? So, and then number 8 is Cupcakes, a 4+ book series. And that, I've read several. Of course, there's always Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. Harry Potter is like home to me at times, and that might sound silly, but like, I grew up with it, and it has truthfully brought me comfort in some of the hardest times in my life, not only the books, but the movies. And Harry Potter is just timeless to me. I think people will be reading that book years and years and years and years from now. So, Harry Potter, of course, and then the Christy Miller series by Robin Jones Gunn. There are 4 volumes of just the main Christy Miller series, and then there's like Christy and Todd the college years, Christy and Todd the da 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 da. So it's a huge series, multiple books within the series in the Christy Miller world for Robin Jones Gunn. That was the very first Christian fiction I read. It was back in high school. One of my best friends in high school at the time, she recommended it to me. Phenomenal. Is some of it juvenile? Yeah, because it's Christy. She's literally going, it starts out, the first book, she's going into her first year of high school, and then it's literally her going into high school and then going through all that, and then there's the college years, and then when she gets married, and then when she has babies. So I mean, would everybody love starting out and reading Christy Miller right at the very beginning? Maybe not. It might be a little juvenile, but it's truly one of the best book series I've ever read. Robin Jones Gunn is very good at writing very genuine faith, and she just is a beautiful writer. So if you've never read anything by Robin, I highly recommend. I just recently got a couple of her books from her Glenbrook series, and I think it's an 8-book series, and that's another series. So if you want to get into that, the Glenbrook series might be a little bit more mature in a sense than Christy Miller at some points, but I love Robin Jones Gunn. And then the next one is number 9, Fruitcake. And that is a book that wasn't what you anticipated. I read this book several years ago. It's Before I Fall. And I think it's a movie now. I don't even know if I've watched the movie. I think it's on Netflix. But I've seen it on there, but I've never watched it. I don't have Netflix anymore, and it's basically about this girl in high school. I think it's her senior year. And she relives, it's a big book too, she relives the same day over and over and over again. And those books can kind of get repetitive for me, but what it was that wasn't, what I didn't anticipate was the ending. Like, it ended in a way that I was just like, so this is really how it ends? And yes, there's like growth and story development throughout all of it, of course, but it almost ended in a way where I was like, I don't know, the ending just didn't do it for me, and it in turn made me not really like the book. And it's like a chunker, it's pretty thick. So, but it is a young adult. I'm pretty sure it was clean. It's been out for several years. I read it when I was a teenager, so probably like 15, so 10 years ago. Yeah, just wasn't what I anticipated. If you like YA books and want something different, and I've never really heard anybody talk about it, Before I Fall, you might love it. It's just, I remember literally finishing it and I was like, what the stinking heck? I was like, this is the end? So, yeah, that's the cake book tag, y'all. I hope I gave you some variety and mentioned some books that you'd never heard of, or maybe had never heard that opinion on. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. I am going to tag Miriam from Miriam Elizabeth Reads, Celestria. I'm not sure if you've done this, Celestria. I tried to go back and look. I don't think you have. I would love to see your answers. And then Sky. I'd love to see your answers, Sky. So the cake book tag, I will try to leave the prompts below so y'all can get them if you choose to do this tag. If not, that's totally fine. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.